So this is going to be a fun story because it's not a crossover story or alternate universe. We're just going to have a fun adventure with everyone's favorite lovable loser in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, Herman Schultz the Shocker. We're going to go on this story's basically an adventure with the Shocker, as it's called, the Shocker's Bizarre Adventure. So this story, in this this story, excuse me. In this story, basically, Herman is down on his luck. He is, after, barely escaping another, he robbed an armored car and battled Spider-Man. He got away and is just like, I didn't get the money. I'm running, I need money to repair funds on my suit. I need a lot of things. So, I need to take a job. I need a job of some capacity that will help, pay the bills for a little bit. I need this. I need work. So he starts, going to the bar with no name and is, asking around. Is hey, is there anything, like a pro bono job? Is the Hood doing it, need some people for a thing? Or, Fisk? Or anyone know anything? And out of the back comes a voice that's hey, yeah, there's some, there's something, there's something for you, and the person in question is Black Ant. So Black Ant tells Shocker, look, there's a job that Taskmaster and I passed on because it wasn't paying to our level, but it'll pay Shocker money. You know what I'm saying? And Shocker's sure, yeah, I'll take a job. What is it? And they're it's a transport job. You just need to, I'll give them your address because you look so pathetic. You look like you need a W, Herman. And Herman's thanks, asshole, but whatever. So Black Ant gives Shocker the address, and he goes to the location, and it's already skeezy as it is, but he's well, I got my gear on me, and I'll see what they have. So he goes inside, and it's a group of well-dressed socialites, and they're Mr. Schultz, Mr. O'Grady told us that you would be arriving. I must say we were kind of hoping for other help, but we appreciate you coming over regardless. And he's yeah. So I'm told I'm supposed to be guarding something, it's a transport job, and they're yes, we need you to transport some high-value items from here to Hoboken. And he's ugh, Hoboken. Well, what can I ask what the items are? He's no, you may not. You may not. Look, it's we will have a convoy. We will have it's going to be a truck. You're going to sit passenger side, and you will not ask or see what's in the truck. Once the job is completed, our contacts in New Jersey will pay you, and if all goes well, without any harm to the to our items, we will actually give you double the bonus. And he's oh, cool, neat. I'm your guy. So Herman gets in the car, or in the truck, sits passenger side, and he's not got his costume on. He's just got all of his, and they're hey, the driver's hey, I got a question for you, man. And he's what's the question? You're the Shocker, right? And he's yeah. And Shocker in his head's oh no, this question. But your gauntlets, they vibrate, they shoot vibrations, right? And he's yeah. So why don't you call yourself? I'm not calling myself the Vibrator. Okay? I'm so sick of that fucking question. I am not calling myself. I already hate my life as it is. I don't want to be called a fucking dildo everywhere I go. Okay? I get enough of those jokes from Spider-Man. And they're all right, sheesh, whatever, fucking A. So, from there, as the transport's going from Manhattan to New Jersey, basically Herman is man, this job's easy. I don't know why they needed armored backup. And then the moment he thinks that, shit goes wrong because the truck suddenly tilts to the side, starts tilting to the side, and he's and I thought it out too much, and they crash. Herman has to get out of the truck, and the driver's ah shit, the cargo must have woken up, and he's woken up, and he's they're animals, right? And so they open it up, and it's kids. Like, it's a whole thing of children. And he's like, whoa! The driver's like, come on, help me sedate him again. And Shocker's like, whoa! Whoa, you didn't say any... They're kids, man. And he's like, what? You got paid? You're gonna get paid. You're a villain. You shouldn't care about them. He's like, I don't do jobs like this, man. And the guy pulls out a gun and is like, well, you're doing this job. Now help me sedate the kids or you're dead. And he's like, you serious with the gun? Just fucking blasts him. So he's like talking to the kids. He's like, hey, it's okay. Are you a hero? Who are you kids? And they're like, they took us, those people took us from our parents. They said they had, they were from the schools we were from, and they were going to take us to, a special school. He's like, are you kids, mutants, or what have you? And it turns out, no, they're not mutants, they're not Inhumans, they're fairies, they're imps, they're magical beings. And at this point, Shocker in his head is like, I am way over my head now. And that's when things get worse, because what happens is that basically that's when Shocker hears something, and he smells something in the air, and it smells like sulfur. Well, it turns out the driver he was with is actually a demon, and he's like, blood for Dormammu. And so Shocker has to fight a demon, and he's like, holy fucking shit, I'm fighting a demon. So Shocker has to battle this demon, and as he's battling it, he does take it down, but with everything he had, and now he has to guard these kids. But he's like, this is a job for Doctor Strange or Clea or some magical being. I am not it. So I'm just gonna take these kids to Greenwich and dump them off there. He tries to knock on the door, and then immediately gets blasted by Doctor Strange, who's just like, Herman Schultz, you must be the biggest fucking idiot on the planet to think that that you could attack the Sanctum Sanctorum. He's like, no, I'm not attacking. Listen to me. He's like, good night, and just slams the door on him. He's like, fuck you. So Herman now has to protect the kids, as he finds out that these kids are magical beings, and they're meant to be sacrifices for a cult of Dormammu, who Dormammu basically has imbued his cult to be demons. So they essentially they're just they're all they all get demonically empowered, and now they're all coming after Shocker, who now has to find a way to get these kids back home, and where they come from is a magical home somewhere in Avalon, basically from Excalibur. So he has to protect these kids from a demonic horde of Dormammu worshippers, and they even summon mindless ones. So Shocker now has to fight his way through all of them. And there's even a moment where one of the demons is like, how did you had potential, I'll admit, you had potential to be one of Spider-Man's, and one of the, you could have been bigger. I gotta know, why didn't you become bigger? And he's like, you want to know why? I almost got accepted into the Sinister Six once, be part of the big time. But Octavius wanted to, interview me. And you know what he asked me? He asked what lines am I willing to cross, and I said anything that doesn't involve murder. And I have taken lives, but I ain't proud of it. And I'm definitely not a kid killer either. And that is so. Basically, this kind of explains why the Shocker never got bigger. Why he's all why he takes the lumps as the the loser villain, because he always got he had a chance for the big time, but then he saw what that would ensue, and he's like, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not a bad guy. So Shocker has to fight with everything he has, and he's fighting demons and mindless ones to protect these kids throughout the whole adventure, as he's trying to get them, because there's a portal they got taken from, so he's hoping he can get them back to Avalon. So he basically has to get these kids there, And it eventually, like, as he's fighting his way through all of these monsters and demons, he does manage to find the portal and get them through after a night of just getting beaten and thrown around, and he's like he's just coughing up blood, and he's just like, oh shit, what a night, I need a drink and probably some stitches. But as he's going back to the bar with no name, he gets jumped by Spider-Man, who has found out there were reports of Shocker running around with kids, and he gets his ass kicked and thrown in jail. Shocker's life sucks. So there you go, guys. That is Shocker's Bizarre Adventure. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.